Hi, my friends. So it's mid-November, and from now until the end of the year, we're only going to have real talk. So I can commit to you that in Leadership COGS, we are only going to have real-time conversation. And it's that time of year when your calendar probably looks like Tetris with all of those different blocks on the calendar. I know that networking can feel like one more thing on your agenda that you have to do. So today, I want to help you to make it lighter, to make it a little bit faster, and to integrate it a little bit more seamlessly into what you already have on your plate with no extra events required. So if you're joining for the first time, my name is Farnia Fresnel, and I'm the global coach for pioneering leaders. I am so thrilled to continue to partner with Better Spaces, which is a solution dedicated to fostering health and happiness in today's hybrid workplace. To bring this segment to you, today we're talking about networking where you work. In November, the pressure and likely your blood pressure rises. You experience deadlines, holidays, year-end reviews, which we're talking about next time, client events, all of which must feel like a drag. I don't want to say must feel because some people actually really enjoy this time of year because of the variety of events that are happening. But I really invite you today to reframe networking into an opportunity and a series of micro opportunities that might be hiding in plain sight. So, the first thing we're going to talk about today is just the things you can do. First, let's define networking. Networking, instead of just how a lot of times we think about networking as being something to go out and do, like, oh, I have to go to a networking event. But rather, we're going to think about this as a habit of making work easier through small, useful touches, whatever those small, useful touches might be. So this takes out the schmoozing. This takes out the, oh, I have to go to a networking meeting. This takes that out and just boils it down to tiny actions that help people to move. So first, let's think about some of the things that you can do. So I offer this energy menu is what I call it. Depending on where you're starting with your energy, some days you just have low energy, particularly at this time of year. The days might be getting shorter where you are in the world, and you just don't feel like you have what you had maybe in the spring. So when your energy's low, you still have options. Pick the level on this energy menu that fits the day that you happen to be having. So first, the reply plus a resource. So what that might sound like, and you're saying, how is this networking? It's offering something and engaging in a conversation. Again, that comes back to tiny touch points, small, useful touches that add up over time. That's how we're defining networking here. So if you're low energy and you just don't have it to engage in some long, drawn out conversation, it's okay. Reply plus resource. If if you're engaging with someone asks you for something, just got it. Here's a checklist that helped us the last time. So acknowledge it and reply. Acknowledge it and reply. And just by replying, that builds a touch point. Another low energy thing, signal boost. So tag the right person. A lot of us are on Slack or in Teams and engaging in all these conversations and chats over the course of your day, WhatsApp or whatever you're using. So simply tag the right person. All of these tools make it really simple to put an @ sign in front and tag the right person. You see a conversation, a dialogue going in a direction it doesn't have to go into, just tag the right person that should be pulled in. People appreciate it. It saves cycles. It saves other people having to scroll and read through a whole slew of information, and none of it is relevant to them. So it saves other people's energy and they appreciate it. That is networking. A warm thank you. So I offer this as low because it only takes a second to say thank you. And where in your world are you overlooking some of the wins? And as we come to this time of year where a lot of people feel drained, simply offering a warm thank you can pay dividends. It allows someone to feel seen, even if it's briefly. So if you have a little more energy, there are a couple other things you can do. Like, well, I really don't have that much time, but you might have 5 or 10 minutes. And I offer these few things. First, a huddle. So if there's a conversation going astray or perhaps not directed as it sounds like it could be, just check in and say, hey, do you want to have a quick conversation about that? So it doesn't seem like this, whatever's happening, needs to go on and be directionless for an extended period of time. Another, you might know one department or people in one department and know people in another. And having conversations with them, they seem to be having a similar conversation, but they're not having it together. So another way to be very valuable and offer yourself and again, tiny touch points that add up over time, bridge an introduction. So if there's something that's happening in this space, also there's something else happening in this space, this might sound like saying, hey, Jane, do you know Jason? You know, Jane, you're the head of marketing and Jason, you're working in finance. I know you're working on a year-end budget and you're working specifically on the marketing budget. Let me just do a quick introduction between the two of you so you can get this done a lot faster. So serve as the bridge that accelerates for other people. That's a form of networking. And that counts. And if you know, this is particularly useful, if you know people you're working on cross-functional projects, and a lot of people don't know each other, a nice way to bridge an introduction to accelerate for other people, and that is networking. Now, I love this one because I'm all about movement, but a walk and talk. In this time where every second counts, and a lot of us are in office, so we're spending our time in office, I offer you the construct of a walk and talk. While you're walking to a meeting, just walk with someone else and be directed in the conversation you have. So it's not just loosey-goosey, it's actually directed at something. And by the time you get to that meeting, you might have something resolved, you might have a new name, you might have a new resource yourself, or even offer one to someone else. Now, if you're in a circumstance, the rare circumstance that you have a lot more time, so they're talking 20, 25 minutes, so this might even look like an actual meeting. What is one win or one template for a win that you achieved recently that you might share with someone else? Now, this pays massive dividends because if you solve for something, you get to take the stress, the working through cycles off of someone else's plate. So if you've achieved a recent win, how can you templatize what you've done so that somebody else can leverage it? And that's what this is. A high touch way to network could be to share something that you've already accomplished to accelerate someone else. Think about your recent wins. What can you accelerate? And drop that in the chat if you have an opportunity. The last thing I would offer is a high touch or a high energy, requires a little bit more, right? Is to invite a learning circle. And this could be a lunch and learn or just, something that you might already be doing. Like if you actually take a break for lunch, this is a great opportunity to do this. Invite two people for lunch and talk about something that you've accomplished or something that you know that they're working on that might be helpful for you sometime in the future. And just have a learning circle. This doesn't have to take much time, but you pick up one or two points that could accelerate for you or for other people. So again, I invite you to use this energy menu to decide like what is it that I'm doing in my day to day? Am I high energy today? Do I have just a little bit more time? Or can I actually block out time for some kind of a more formal conversation? And then select what might be easiest for you, the lowest hanging fruit, because this is about making networking easy. Now, what else can you do? Now, opportunity shows up in lots of really ordinary moments. So I invite you to use these four S's. First, just notice the moment. So see it. This might be a chat thread, again, that's gone awry and it keeps on scrolling and scrolling, and there are no answers, just lots of questions and even more uncertainty and probably frustration. If you notice it, you see it, you have an opportunity to do something. The second S is a signal. So acknowledge that you've seen it, acknowledge that you're paying attention, because lots of things can get lost when no one's paying attention. Like no one's focused on, hey, what are we trying to solve here? Why is this thing happening? Let's come back to what's important here. Pay attention, signal that you're paying attention. The third is serve. So offer something, one small relevant help, resource, introduction, a sanity check. Serve. And you'll notice the more you practice this third S, the more people want to support you, and your network will be solidified. The more you serve, I'll repeat that, the more you serve, the more your network will be solidified. Why? Because you're willing to offer. People often rely on reciprocity. That last S is schedule. So what you can do, if there's something, propose the next step. And not just the next step, but propose a time when the next step will actually happen. There are a lot of options like, oh, we'll do that next week. We'll do that without a specific time. And the biggest way or the easiest way to cause more overwhelm is to throw another thing up in the air and hope that somebody catches it without actually saying where it will be caught and where it will be resolved. Nobody wants anything added to their list without any promise of resolution. So networking is not just tossing something up in the air or tossing something out there into the ether. It's inviting a scheduled resolution, inviting a scheduled progression of whatever was just opened. That's considered networking. Tiny touches that add up and support. So this might sound like, hey, I heard a conversation. You guys were talking about the dashboard the other day, and it sounded like there was a lot going on there. You know, last year we worked on something similar, and I actually have a one pager on that. Do you want it? So you heard the dashboard conversation, you experienced that. So that's the seeing. And the signal is, oh, there was actually a conversation about it. The serving is that you are offering something that you worked on and was successful in the past. And then you can close out with, if it's helpful, I can schedule just a few minutes with you to talk through that. To schedule the time so someone feels a little bit lighter. That's the type of networking that we're talking about here. Making something lighter for yourself or for others. And that's networking in just a few seconds. The four S's. So I'm going to also offer this. What do you say? A lot of times, especially year end, there's a lot of conversations that might feel like they need to happen. And you say, well, I have to go and do this networking thing. What do I actually say? There's so many events, and some you may not even care about. And right. So, so you don't have to open up Pandora's box, but you can open up with something light, something light. First, I just want to share, mirror the energy. Whatever space you're walking into, just notice the energy of that space and name something that's true about that moment. In COGS, I often talk about mindfulness and being present with what is, not what was or what will be, but what is right now. And to be present with what is, just notice something in the moment, something that is only available in this moment. I can talk through a couple conversation starters. So warm openers, like you don't have to ask anything big, but how's your week actually going? A simple question. How's it going? Can open up a lot of things without any sentiment like, oh, it's a great week, it's a bad week. You don't know where it's going to go, but it's a warm opening and it invites the present into your conversation. and gives you an opportunity to have a shared moment with someone else. In certain situations, you may not feel comfortable like engaging, but again, this is a really, really easy thing to say. How is your week actually going? You don't have to make it complex and just how's your week actually going? Another thing to consider doing, I talked about mindfulness and just noticing, but noticing and naming or extending that appreciation in the moment. So if you're on Zoom, a lot of us are still using these tools. We're maybe not all in the same physical places often. So just notice something about the background. Oh, your background looks cozy. Did you change it? Were you in a different room today? And that might invite someone to share something about themselves, to just connect for a moment. Present something that you appreciated or you noticed about the person or something they did. So your note last week, I saw it and it landed really well with the client. Just give them kudos. Just acknowledge something that happened and presence a shared reality or make it a reality. Hey, you did a great job. Notice, naming, and appreciation. Another thing is, again, we're at end of year, and there's a lot of stuff that happens at this time of year that can be challenging and can be fun. So, seasonal small talk. And that might sound like, what's a tradition that you actually enjoy? So, everyone doesn't enjoy the holidays, but what's a tradition that you might enjoy about this time of year? Or what's your favorite year-end thing to do? It might be Netflix or something else. So just invite a different lens of conversation that may not be work related, but might allow you to connect more meaningfully with someone about something they're passionate about or really interested in. And then lastly, a category of conversation starters of things to say and things to offer. You're not asking for anything. This is not the time to do that. You're not asking, you're just offering insights, perspectives, sharing a little bit about you. Because vulnerability is a key to trust, establishing trust. And if there's a time of year to establish trust, this is one that you can capitalize on pretty easily. Offer some micro stories. It could be your new coffee place. Oh, you know what? The new Starbucks opened downstairs. And you know what? The people in there are amazing. Or I finally fixed this thing at home. I've had a leak and it was leaking and you tell that micro story. This isn't going in detail. This is a micro story that allows someone to get another lens into something that might be important to you or a victor, an experience that you might have had that might even be relatable, something you might be proud of that may not be work related. So, I'm on a streak of walking every day at lunchtime and I'm on day 4. And that might invite someone to, oh, I'd like to walk with you and allow connection to happen. Or if nothing happens, they get another lens into who you are. And then lastly, I'm talking about ways to get conversations started, but what we also know is it could be awkward ending conversations during this heavy networking season. So when in doubt, just go with what works. It was great to see you. It was great to see you. I can't wait or I'll see you next time. Just wrap it up. Wrap it up. There's no need to say anything special with a long to do, to do, to do. Just wrap it up. So it's easy to open and make it easy to close. Good to see you and take care. That's it. So we talked about things to do, things to say, and I love for us to wrap with putting it all together. So where are those places in the next few weeks as we wrap up 2025 that you might be that you're going to have to do a little bit of networking? And you might want to make the micro and the macro moments matter. First, there's the holiday parties that may very well come up in your office, right? Or office or with clients. And you don't have to make this complex, but it could just be noticing, again, practicing that noticing. What is it that someone lights up about? If you ask, oh, how's your week? How's your week really? I mentioned that question before. What is it that they light up about? Is it a project? Is it a person? Or is it a plan? Lean in. Let their response inform what you do next or what you say next. Some of this might be obvious, but for some it's not. Another experience that you may very well have could be a client lunch or a coffee. So this is a big, clients want to bring you out, or you might want to connect with vendors or other people in other departments. You might want to have these kinds of conversations. And a very human type conversation to have. What's up with your next quarter? What's coming up for you next? What does it look like? And again, vulnerability is the key to trust. So share a quick story or an artifact that might be meaningful. And this does require you to do a little bit of preparation, but I can guarantee in investing that time in preparing, you will feel so much more empowered in that conversation, and it will go so much more smoothly because you'll know what are those things that that person might care about and that you want to share with that person. Another place is an elevator. Like we're all on the elevator and you see that person that you never see and magically, or you're leaving that event and you have 10 seconds or 30 seconds to talk to someone. You might ask, like, oh, you headed to somewhere or coming from somewhere that might be exciting or good. And if they mention something, you can have a quick follow-up, right? Quick follow-up, just engaging to connect. The intention here isn't long-term connection, it's short-term connection to acknowledge that you've seen them and to bridge what may come next, but not guarantee it. It's okay. Another place, year-end emails. So a lot of times some people do holiday cards, but in some corporate settings, all you're doing is an email. And this is a wonderful opportunity to network simply by saying thank you. And in some instances, it might be thank you plus, hey, we used this thing this year. It might benefit you. Attach that thing. So all you have to say is thanks for this year. Great being your partner this year. Whatever it is, very simple, but just acknowledge all you have to do is say is thank you. That's it. And lastly, actually, I think we have two more here, but family or friends events. So a lot of this happens where families gather, lots of holidays for that to happen, and simple questions. Like there's a lot of stress that may come with family gatherings as well. You might engage with new family members you didn't know before. We held an event last week and it was called Ignite More. So I'll invite you to ask that question. What do you want to ignite more of in the coming year? Use that as your question as you're engaging family or friends. What do you want to ignite more of in the coming year? And what might help? And that might be you offering yourself as a resource or a connection that you have as a resource to help. And lastly, community events. There is probably no shortage of community events that you may attend at the end of the year or may be invited to for your family, your friends, your whoever, schools, and whatever that is. A question always is, well, what brought you out today? How are you connected to this community? How are you, right? Just to engage in that way, simple questions that connect. What brought you out today? And notice where they get excited. What is it that they're organizing or why are they there? And you can ask a follow-up question about that. So I'm going to flash forward here as we wrap up for today to say there, come back to COGS. C is for celebrating. So this is a lot of thank yous in this season. This season's also known as a season of gratitude. Ownership. Ownership means don't just throw another ball up in the air and allow it to fall. This is not what people need in this season of networking. They need balls up in the air and attached to something else that is not going to cause more stress. Glue. You can act as the glue, a glue of connection between two disparate people who are stuck in their own ways. You can serve as that glue to bridge connection. And lastly, stretch. If this is an uncomfortable season for you, I invite you to consider how can you make it a little bit more comfortable? What is one thing that you might try as a result of coming here today that might stretch you to network a little bit more intentionally in this season? So, as we wrap up for today, networking doesn't need more of you. It just needs you to engage in small, useful, intentional activities that makes something easier for others. All right. Thank you for joining today. And I will be back in 2 weeks to talk about getting ready for reviews. That's another thing that's very popular this season. In the meantime, don't forget you can catch this session and many others on demand anytime through the app. And if you have questions or you want to connect, scan this code. I would love to connect with you. Drop your email in the chat or send a message to team@betterspaces.com. As always, thanks for being here. Take care and be well.